Been on the market 7 months with no buyers involved, like an old dilapidated house that they're trying to sell, or maybe Quarter Black Garrett's Airbnb. We're going to talk gossip. Now, this comes from Chris Gore of Film Thread. You know, the guy who kind of started. He's been in the business, in the industry forever, knows a lot of people, still lives there. And Alan Ing the Merciless, we cannot forget him. But they have been saying that an inside source has told them that they've been trying to sell off the Star Wars franchise, that they've been selling Lucasfilm for about 7 months, shopping it out to buyers, and no one is even paying attention. So let's look more at this article. Now, he said it actually on one of his own live streams and reports that Disney's been trying to sell Star Wars for 7 months. No one wants it, and they want to know more. So, a new rumor that has surfaced from their own mouths. Reportedly, there are no takers. Now, he has industry connections outside the media sphere, actual people who maybe they work in the industry or they work for the industry, but not in the industry. And that claims that a trusted source in the financial sector informed him that Disney has been putting out feelers to gauge interest in selling Star Wars or potentially Lucasfilm as a whole. But after about 7 months, yeah, nobody's even come to the table. I wonder why. I wonder why they would be wanting to do this. Let's go a little bit more into it before I just go off. A quiet effort to offload Star Wars. Now, okay, and giving Chris Gore credit, he was careful to clarify that the info comes from one single person. It has not been confirmed anywhere else. It's just the rumor mill. However, he decided to bring the rumor to light in the hopes of encouraging others within the industry to corroborate or provide additional details. Yeah, and as long as you stay, please just try to stay as anonymous as possible because you never know what they're going to do. It might be a Clinton S type situation if you get found out that you're the one that is spreading this stuff around. We know they're embarrassed by it, but hey, they did it to themselves. Chris goes to say, this is from a friend who's not in the nerd space, not in the YouTube space, not a media person, a friend in the world of finance, and a trusted individual who says they've been putting out feelers. Now, it remains unclear whether Disney is looking to sell the entire brand, Lucasfilm as a whole, or just select assets. And this is really fun timing that this is coming out, especially from an insider, because we just had the Kathleen Kennedy stuff come out. We're like, well, yeah, in 2 months to a year, she's going to be leaving. So I think this is almost lending some credence to all these rumors that have been coming out. It's like, oh yeah, everyone has kept it pretty hush hush. But it turns out that this time it's actually true. And we can see why. I mean, they have tanked Star Wars into the ground. They bought it back in 2012 from George Lucas for about $4 billion. And the only money they made from it since then was The Force Awakens. It's no longer a viable property. They have just, everything's going slowly, slowly downhill. I mean, not even slowly downhill. It is careened off of a dadgum cliff. They're not selling toys anymore, which is a huge part of Lucasfilm. It was a huge part of Star Wars, was selling the merchandise. That was gigantic. It kept people interested. It kept new generations coming up and wanting to see more whenever they would come out with another movie. Theme park attractions constantly breaking down. Not even fun in the first place. Integration with Star Wars through Disney Plus. We've seen that they have been breaking records on Disney Plus for how shit it is. The licensing deals, I haven't really seen many video games or anything like that coming out because nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's just not interesting anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. You've taken something that used to and capture the imaginations of both children and adults. And what'd you do? It's not even something they look at whenever they're using the toilet. Now, the most surprising aspect to some of this rumor isn't just that they may be looking to part with the franchise. I think they are definitely willing to find some sucker who's willing to shell out a little cash in the hopes that, oh, we can resurrect it. Not anytime in the next 5 to 10 years, you can't. It's not going to happen. The only thing that can resurrect it is from the fans who give it that love out of their own pockets. But anywho, I digress from that. The questions that some people are raising about why there have been no interested offers made. Is it a high asking price? Of course, it's going to be a high asking price. Contractual entanglements, I don't think that's necessarily, that wouldn't be high on the list. of contractual entanglements. I think anyone who bought it would mean they would still have to abide by those contracts unless they bought out the individual contracts. And maybe that's where the high asking price is, going further and further up the more that they announce things that they never intend to make. Or if they do, they know it's going to be a failure. So that actually could possibly something along those lines. Now, to keep it all blunt, at least from this article, Star Wars hasn't had a successful property in years. So what would a sale look like? Now, the specifics would likely be intricate, and Alan himself likened it to selling the Playboy Mansion with Hugh Hefner still living in it. Which, yes, they already did that, emphasizing how deeply Disney is embedded in the brand. Yes. I mean, Bob Iger is still in charge. He may not be overcharged of the Lucasfilm division, but it is still a Disney-owned property. So that's also something. And we also don't even know how much KK really has that much creative authority. We know she's great friends with Bob Iger, or so she says. And we know that she puts her little smarmy hands into every little thing. She just greenlights stuff and, yes, pushes women, whamming. But how much is she actually involved in the creative process? Are you really buying Lucasfilm, or are you just owner in name only and Disney will still run things? That's kind of exactly what I was saying. One possibility is that Disney could sell only certain rights, similar to how Marvel's character rights have been distributed among multiple studios for over the years. But here's the thing. The OT, why would you want rights to that? Because those people are either dead, have insane TDS, or abs don't care. So we wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want anything to do with the sequel trilogy. You wouldn't want anything to do with the Clone Wars because Dave Filoni is still out there doing his stuff with that. Those are the only things that had any hype until it was squandered. Granted, a cursory hype, but yes, they were squandered too. So what character rights would you want? What would you get? Stuff from that EU? I mean, that means you would have to recanonize it. That's something that Disney took off the table. I mean, everybody wants to do stuff about Revan and Bastila and that, and Jolie Bindo, all those kind of people now. Darth Bane. But that's all EU stuff. Now, if Disney is indeed looking to offload Star Wars, it could be considering a similar arrangement rather than a complete divestiture. And that's another big reason why nobody is interested. Would you be interested in this? Of course not, because you're still going to have your overlords. You're buying rights to a property, or you're buying a property that is still being, landlorded over by this company that doesn't give a crap about the fans, doesn't give a crap about bringing it back to the Star Wars universe and keeping it there. Not just another dusty old planet with dusty old actors. Anyway, what you guys think about this? I think it's absolutely hilarious. It makes a whole lot of sense. But for right now, this is all alleged. This is all just a rumor, which means we could talk our crap down in the comment section below. If you like anything that you see over here, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. We love you guys. We'll see you later. This is Multi, and bye-bye.